This is Rafique Louison, and you are tuned in to Nothing But That Sports Talk. Welcome to another episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. I'm Rafique Louison alongside Ryan Walker, and welcome to the show again.
Absolutely appreciate it. Good being on again. You know how we go.
Yeah. You know what? We're knocking the door for the 4-year anniversary of your first appearance on the show, back where it all started. A few months away.
Oh, wow. 4 years. Wow.
We're going to be doing an anniversary. So I'm just warning you, we're going to be doing a little anniversary of your time with Nothing But That Sports Talk and all the Reds eventually.
Wow.
But nonetheless, let's just acknowledge the fact that I was at Big East Media Day at least. You see the interviews. You see who I interviewed. What are your overall thoughts about what the players said as we get ready for college basketball season?
Oh no, it was a good session, Big East. A lot of good New York City media reps in the building. You know, yourself, with Nothing But Sports Talk and your wave and Hoop Dreams, and you know a lot of other different with Jaquan and then a lot of different people down. It was good. The Big East tournament is always the Big East, excuse me, in general. The Big East is always a very highly competitive, one of the top, conferences, top 5 conferences every year, for the most part, in the NCAA. I'm a Duke fan, so I'm like ACC, but I'm like I never had a problem with the Big East because I support, and root for so many New York or metropolitan teams. We have the Hofstras, the Stony Brooks, Syracuse, way upstate, the Albanese, Ionas, Binghamton. There's so many, different schools, you know what I mean? And when different players or family members or friends who've also attended these universities. So in the New York metropolitan area, and there's other ones I'm forgetting about, the community colleges, the Yorks, the CCNYs, the LaGuardias. There's so many different schools per se, and no disrespect to whoever I left out, the Queens colleges, the Delphi. There's so many, but the college season is going to be good in general, and it's good for the Big East. I always have a good love for the Big East, and I'm always fortunate every year with Swinger Tutu Holloway's father to attend Big East games because his son went to Xavier, and we know a lot of different reps at St. John's and who else at the UConn, a few, and a couple other teams at the Big East tournament. We always usually get great seats all 4 days. And so that's, the closeness that I have with the Big East tournament as well, too. So it's good that you were in that environment and to get exposure to that for the start of the season. So that was pretty huge. And it's always good to get a start of the season to see where everybody's, coaches and players' head and vision is at. And that's a good, a good way to have your summer, from Pro City to the WNBA finals and to get an opportunity at the Big East tournament. So, hopefully you continue going in that direction and continue to stay hungry to get events and put yourself in that position. And if not, then, you continue to keep doing whatever you're doing on this with this and the craft and getting better. And see what opens up and happens from there. But it was a good start from the Big East tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Big East Media Day first of all, but yeah,
Big East Media Day. I'm so sorry. I'm foreshadowing to March. I'm thinking about the tickets at Madison Square Garden and sitting at the Big East tournament already.
Man, I'm thinking about the Atlantic 10 tournament where my alma mater, Fordham University, my next A10 tournament invite, where my alma mater, Fordham University is. I'm thinking about seeing. I'm thinking about. You should be thinking about everything else that was in March Madness, and not to mention the fact that March Madness will be at the Barclays for the first 2 rounds or a series of first round, second round games. But that's neither here or there. But when I went, I spoke to many different players. I mean, obviously all the teams that had a championship style of celebration, like Marquette win the Big East, UConn being the defending champions, Villanova being Villanova, the Georgetown Hoyas talking about like how they're gonna develop from last season, because if you recall the last few seasons with the Hoyas, they haven't really had that great of a record in Big East play. I mean, the year before that they had no wins, and last year they were won like one or two. So I spoke to a couple other players, including this kid on Jaden Epps, about how his style will transition into the development of the Georgetown Hoyas that we have not seen in quite some time. And then I've also got a chance to talk to players from the women's side as far as not only developing that team, but honoring Tasha Butts, who was supposed to be the coach of the team this year before she passed away.
Right. You know, man, the Big East, every conference is going to be so interesting. The Big East this year, the men's side probably gets 7-8. Women's side maybe like 3 to 5. But like you said, it was good to see you get interviews with the young Butler core, who was trying to, with coach and the girls there trying to change the program, going in a different direction. We see St. John's pick up the young lady from South Shore, so she'll be there next year, and what they're trying to do with the program. So teams are, and like I said, it's for the women's game. It's so good now that recruiting all over, and that the game, the ladies game, quite frankly, have developed, and there's so much good ladies players all over that you just don't have the core of girls just going to UConn and Tennessee and the big schools no more, and they're going everywhere, and the talent is spread out. So when you recruit, you can get good players and girls everywhere, and now to make it more competitive. I don't really like, I like to see some top dogs, but I don't really like one team just dominating all the way through. Sometimes I no disrespect to Genie Ram, because he's one of the greatest coaches, not just college coaches, one of the greatest coaches in basketball minds in basketball. But for a while, on top of being a great coach and facilitating everything, it was unfair because he was always getting the top girls. You know what I'm saying? If you got the top 10 girls in the country, and you get 4 to 5 out from the top 10, you got, and in the year before you did, you know what I'm saying? Now it's just more balanced, and it's good for the women's game, and it's good for the men's game too. That's why now the men's game for college is even more unpredictable. You know what I mean? Look what we said last year. Pardon me, last season, you have Marquette, who was a buzzsaw in the Big East tournament and wins in their first time for the Big East. Remember, they were in the other conference before and win the tournament. And UConn won the national championship. And UConn had a good team. It's not like nobody didn't think that UConn, but they weren't being thought about. They were like maybe the 8th, 9th, or 10th choice you were thinking about winning from all the, the other blue bloods and different schools and so on and so forth. But the college game was so open last year. And we've seen so much in the last few years with a 16 defeating a 1. We've seen many 15s defeat a 2. We've seen 4 teams before beat 3s. So it's come to a point where no matchup is safe. You know what I'm saying? You might have 1 or 2, maybe even 3 number 1 seeds in the future, and sometimes it won't always be that number, where they're clearly better than the 16 seed and eventually will pull away or be a rout. And then, but because the talent is spread all the way out, it's just not going to be like that. Like you see how Kentucky has a lot of really good, they got dogs on their team this year, the DJ Wagners, the Willinghams and stuff, and they're going to be really tough. But then you see, the season is just so hard to predict who's going to be number 1 by the end of the year. And the goal in college basketball, even as the top seeds, is let's try to be one of the top 4 seeds by the end of the year. If you're a top 4 seed by the end of the year and you play in your respective conference tournament, and if you're in a top 4 seed at the end of the year, most of the time you're in a conference that gets more than 1 at-large bid, right? So as long as you get to your conference tournament, or at least the semifinals, you'll probably guarantee a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Worst, a 2 seed. Those are the cores you want to stay in. But at the same time, we've watched now in history, it is applicable. and the talent is everywhere. You have the transfer portal. You have so many upperclassmen and older guys that are going to these mid-major schools or getting recruited everywhere. And you go play the team, and you're like, yeah, we should beat on them. No, these guys got tough players down here, and you can lose. So Big East will have a good year this year. St. John's with Patino, he'll be turning that program around. There'll be a different buzz there.
Yeah, Joel Sereno was talking about how he's going to help St. John's become the team to watch.
Joel Soriano, yes.
Joel Soriano, my bad.
And I've been, it's so crazy. I'm seeing him shoot that 3-ball on that perimeter shot now, and I know he's going to talk about that and try to add that more to his game. I hope he knocks it down in the games consistently. But Joel Soriano, good kid, once Fordham at one point, and transferred over, and he's gonna have a big year this year, I think, with the core of kids they got there. When he
Fordham and St. John's, we face each other at the Garden. We can't ignore that.
Yeah. So that St. John's will be fine, and it'll be good to see them good again because, like I said, as a Duke fan, I've always been a closet St. John's fan. I always love what they. I have a St. John's book in my house. There's this gentleman.
Crash Brothers, Patrick is a St. John's alumni. So
yes,
obviously, if he sees my interviews on YouTube, he'll get educated about the type of team that St. John's for the women and men's side is going to be this year.
Yeah, I never had an issue with St. John's because one, it's New York, right there, Queens, and we always had cats that we knew that went to St. John's that was from New York. Ron Artest, of course, Booty Thornton, LaVar Booty, and Booty Thornton is from Long Island. He's from he went to Sewanaka High School from the New Hyde Park area. So we had a lot of guys that we know that went there. And like I said, always got a lot of love for the Big East. So whenever Duke is not doing well, I'm always like, St. John's, St. John's, St. John's. Make sure I got a St. John's book in the house, like I said, with the wrapping on it, the book to read. This gentleman who's writing for this paper, his mom used to stay at the Bristol, and we always used to talk college basketball. And he gives me this book as a present one day. He showed me the book before, and then I read it. I went to the library to read the book, and I still have it with the folding plastic on it. And I think I refuse to open it. I'm gonna just leave it like that forever. It's gonna be like in my mantle case. And so I love St. John's. I love what they do. I go to so many Hofstra games. I'm gonna be going to some Stony Brook games too. Shout out to Chrissy from Juice Elite. She's gonna be sending me tickets for Stony Brook and Bryant, and Stony Brook and Hofstra. But I want them to do well. I want them to do good, and we shall see how these next couple of years and seasons approach.
Yeah, exactly. And as I mentioned before, there was some. There was some Big East rosters, Big East players that I got to interview where I talked to from Creighton to Butler for the women's side, asking them why people should actually get invested into their conference. So they all give many different answers as far as we're fun to watch. We're gonna do a lot more, do a little run and gun style offense. We're gonna try to be more resilient on the defense and offensive end. They've all said many different quotes, but obviously, if you watch my interviews, you probably get a sense of why you start focusing on Butler women's basketball compared to the men's side, who at one point had back-to-back Final Four appearances and national championship appearances. Why you should get invested into Creighton women's basketball. Why you should get invested into Georgetown men's. Like I said earlier in the show. And of course, we know why we should watch Marquette and UConn for the men's side. That's not even a debatable. And obviously, UConn's gonna, for the women's side, UConn's gonna be that juggernaut that they've always been. But there's more. But it's like what I told Ice Young. It's like what I told the commissioner. There's more to the Big East than UConn women's basketball. It's just how it is.
That's a fact. The Big East always one of the more interesting, alluring conferences in college basketball.
Yeah. Now on to the NFL, and If you're a true Giants fan and you despise the New York Jets, I know you say you don't despise New York Jets. You're probably not a fan of the Giants versus Jets game last Sunday. That was egregious. So, what are your overall thoughts on the Giants versus Jets game, and how have the Jets fans within your own realms reacted to defeat the Giants the way they did?
Well, I ain't hear nothing from nobody, and I don't have to hear nothing from nobody because both teams really. I mean, I'm gonna say that the Jets have a really good defense and are stellar, and they just have a really terrible quarterback. But everything else, they're a really good football team. So I don't want to say they suck, and they'll be a postseason team. But the Giants are really bad, so I don't really expect. But the Jets didn't perform. It's not like they were world beaters, so they don't really have too much to gloat about. But like I said, I haven't been around a lot of Gang Green fans, and I'm so busy during the week that I don't even have time to be around them to even hear that. There was nothing. I think this for once in a lifetime between the Jets and Giants matchup. This is one time where, for the most part, there wasn't a lot of chatter because it wasn't like they were remarkably triumphant in their victory. There was a lot of serendipity that went into their victory against a very bad football team. So I think earlier in the week I was more not upset about the loss. The Giants have been losing all year, and they're going to be a bad team. We acknowledged that early from like week 3. You know, my 10-7 prediction is blown up on, but I probably see last year I said 7-10 for a reason, and they won 9 games with a tie. And this year they've taken a slight, they've taken a step back. And see, one of the biggest things that we have to take into consideration is that Brian Daboll is the coach of the year. Good coach. I love him. Good football mind. There's some other things I'm going to talk about that I'm just unsure about some of their decision making. But we also have to remember that he's in the process of building back this team. This is a very bad football team. Excluding last year, 6 out of the last 8 years, the Giants, last year they won 9 games. 6 out of the last 7 before that, they haven't, excluding 1 year, they had 1 year where they were 6-10. Every other year after that, they had 5 wins or less. They had a 2-14 season, they had a 3-13 season, they had a couple 4-12s, and like a 5 and 1 6-10. And Daboll took over a team that was doing pretty bad for 6 years. They got ahead of schedule. And, you know, I always say this line sometimes early success is bad success because it will blind you from holes that you still have in the football team. Last year, the Giants cut a lot of payroll, and they played with regular guys and even some guys just right off the street and just coached them well. And guys played hard, and they had them in certain spots, and they went. And they had a lot of success. That big 4th down play, first game of the season last year, gave them a lot of confidence. They won some games in a row. And remember, they were batting before, so they didn't have the greatest strength of schedule at first. They had a lot of games in their schedule that they were attainable to win. Now, also consider this fact in this last year. The Giants were 9-7-1, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Or 9-6-1. I hope I'm saying that right. One of those numerical numbers. They had 1 division win last year. They lost 2 times apiece to the Eagles and the Cowboys, and they had a tie and a victory against the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
So in division, they were terrible. They were fortunate out of conference to get some really good wins. Okay, also against some teams that weren't that great too, as we were transitioning. And it wasn't like there were a lot of games last year where the Giants blew teams out. The Giants had 1 rout last year, and that was against the Indianapolis Colts at the end of the year when the Colts were on a descent as well too. And we were just offensively gifted that year. That was the most points we scored in life. I think they had 31 or 38 points. It was like Lollapalooza. Oh my God, the Giants scored 38.
You were up against a bad Indianapolis Colts team, and it was for a playoff spot. That's different.
Right. So Now, with all that being said, the hindsight to the big umbrella, they had success early with just regular guys. You add on a lot of more, you got Hyatt, the receiver talent. That's a really good player. You add on Waller, who's a good tight end, but as we can see, has issues with injuries like he did in the Raiders because now he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. And you add some other, key little positions and work on some stuff to add to the O-line. But the center's a rookie from Minnesota. He gets hurt early. Left tackle gets hurt. Right tackle gets hurt. Guard gets hurt. The backup center gets hurt. They've had so many different offensive line configurations. It's absolutely scary. So the offensive line is up and down in shambles. Daniel Jones is running for his life and still making bad decisions too at the same time, but running for his life. He gets hurt.
He gets a neck injury. Tyrod Taylor.
He gets hurt. Tyrod Taylor comes in. He gets a concussion. Now, here goes my thing with my problems now with Daboll, as good as he has been, but ahead of the schedule. The staff of the Giants, for the most part, has let New York down. If Daniel Jones, your starting quarterback, who you gave $160 million to, $80 million guaranteed for 2 years, he has to make $80 million guaranteed minimum with the Giants, right? You give your franchise quarterback that money. He gets hurt. Things happen. Goes out with a neck injury. You have Tyrod Taylor as your backup, a veteran guy who knows the offense, a veteran guy who knows the NFL, smart and savvy. For the most part, won't make the big mistake. Will keep you in the game to be manageable and win as the backup. He's the backup. Daniel Jones is not going to be back right away. It may take 2-3 weeks. Why in Scott's heaven are you not playing the backup quarterback to play sometimes with the first team or the second team to learn the offense so that just in case, maybe if the backup quarterback dies on the field and gets hurt like he did against the Jets, that the idiot that comes in after him has some kind of sense of what the hell the offense is doing. But why? What? No, we didn't start. He knows nothing of the offense, and they feel comfortable running no passing plays, which I understand. But now the whole America and everybody has to deal with them running every time because the young man is not ready yet and doesn't know what exactly he's doing. But only us doesn't either teach the idiot or cut him and sign a veteran as soon as the guy was hurt who's familiar with your offensive system so that he can jump in and still be simple and learning really, really, really quick. Only us. So fine. Everybody on Fox in America, CBS, or wherever the game was shown on.
It was on CBS.
CBS. Everybody has to be blinded with 45 to 50 run plays of the Giants. And even through all that nonsense, first of all, the Giants were fortunate. Zach turnover Wilson. Zach Morris saved by the bell. Fumbles the ball as he usually does because the Jets offense is not the Jets offense is not anemic. Zach Wilson is anemic. And he fumbles, give the Giants the football back. The Giants are able to drive, don't score a touchdown. Of course, why would they do that? They kick a field goal, they score 3-0. You were able to hold them quick and tight. One time in the second quarter, Brees Hall was able to break away. The end of the first quarter, because only the Giants make the Jets score their first quarter touchdown of the year against us. So now Brees Hall gets in with a touchdown on a play where they didn't get any good tackling. 7-3. Holds for a while. Giants find a way to come back. I forgot who they got a touchdown by. Well, one of those guys. They scored a touchdown.
The third string quarterback, Sheeman.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. They score a touchdown, and it's 10-7 forever. we're just think about it. We're just running run plays because the Tyrod gets hurt and the backup is in, and the Jets are no, that's the Jets. Excuse me again. Zach Wilson is so bad as a quarterback that he can't even find a way to generate points with a team that's just running the football to score. But the Giants defense was playing phenomenal. The Giants defense did everything in their power to help the team win. You run 1,000 plays. The Giants play defense make great plays and stops. You get the ball with the last 2 minutes.
Actually, correction is Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, DeVito is the third string quarterback. Yeah, DeVito. Any quarterback, any guy named DeVito should be an actor. Your last name is DeVito. You don't need to be a quarterback. You're supposed to be an actor. Okay? But nevertheless, they get the ball, they waste some time, which they should have just found a way to just, and then I'm gonna rewind it back. They give them the ball, the Jets back. No, they line up for a field goal. Now here goes this team is so comical. You just have to laugh. After a while, when you've been a Giants fan for so long and you see so much stuff, you just gotta just sit back and just laugh. You gotta just be like,
they went for a field goal with 24 seconds left. At least if you had made it, okay, we won. But you missed it. It only took about like 24 seconds for Zach Wilson to get down the other side of the field for a game time field goal. Overtime, the Giants do nothing. Just get down the field, score, go ahead, field goal. It's pretty much the loss of 2015 all over again, but worse.
Well, we should have won both games. And
Greg Zerlin hits two goals to release 33 yards. Carries the team.
Bro.
It wasn't because Zach Wilson was phenomenal.
He stunk. He was terrible. His best plays was the end of the game when the Giants were playing nothing but prevent defense. No spy on him to see if he's going to run out one time, which they could have killed him on a play. They overplued on the sack. And they made two. Bro, Brian Daboll. The first play of the NFL season, you guys didn't do a proper formation, and the Cowboys blocked your kick to score a touchdown. Does anybody remember that?
Well, I remember that.
The same game, Gano kicks and gets the field goal off, and he misses.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last few weeks, if I'm getting this correct, I know from my own eyes, I've watched him miss 3 kicks and get 1 blocked, and struggle on some extra points as a veteran. You're playing this game in East Rutherford, New Jersey. I don't know how many Giants games you've been to, but when you listen to them and they say it's swirling winds in East Rutherford, it's windy in that little apparatus of Jersey. It starts to rain, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You've watched this idiot miss 3 kicks and get 1 block in 6-7 weeks already. Why? Why do you line him up on 4th and 1 out of all the 4th and 1s to go for? You line this idiot up on 4th and 1 with 28 seconds to kick a field goal so that even if you do make it, you go up 13-7, which is better, but they still can score a touchdown to win the game. So what you should do, Brian, is you should put the offense on the field and you say, you better get 1 stinking yard. We're going to run it down their throat and you get 1 yard. And you get the 1 yard and the game is guaranteed over. And I know everybody's saying, you're crazy. What if they get stopped? Fine. If you go for it on 4th and 1 there and try to make a progression and still get stopped, you're in the same position that you are if you miss the kick by yourself and get stopped. So why not try to go for it forward? If this guy would have been drilling every kick this year in all weathers, I have no problem with it. But that's not that guy. He missed 3 kicks and 1 was blocked. So what you do is you say, you sit down, you go to run the play, you get stopped, then you still believe in your defense to go the same yards. No. Line the kick up. The kick goes all the way to Philadelphia, for crying out loud. But everywhere except for the H, and the Jets come down in 3 plays, the most anemic quarterback in the NFL. They may go down in 3 plays, 1 for a scramble, 2 for a pass. They line up a kick and tie the game 10-10. You know the game's over. You can't pass the ball in overtime. So so unless you're gonna run for 70 yards,
But
how you gonna score?
You're not gonna win. And Saquon
Barkley, and you already gave him 31 carries. You already had 31 carries. He's probably tired. So they're another example of they've been so unprepared several times. They let the Buffalo game go. They let this game go. They have nobody to blame but themselves. That is bad preparation. The third string quarterback should have more of a known nucleus of the offense and be prepared and be smart in order to survive. Now you are forced, even though he was going to come back soon, but I wasn't in a rush for him to come back. You had to have Daniel Jones forced to come back this week because Tyrod Taylor is in concussion protocol, so he cannot play. And clearly you cannot start anybody named DeVito. DeVito at quarterback because the kid doesn't know what he's doing yet. God bless him. But that's Daboll and them fault. That's them fault for doing that. They owe the defense an apology. The defense played out of their mind and had to deal with that. That's egregious. Now, the season's over, but this is the epitome of the season this week. First things first, I told you that little girl, I told you the Raiders wasn't going to win no damn 13 football games. They're not one of the upper echelon teams in the AFC.
They got steamrolled by the Lions last week. They're about 3-5.
Let me tell you how bad things are still with the Giants. The Giants, through all this, and I shouldn't even be saying this, actually have a chance to win the game this week because I'm presuming Daniel Jones will be back. And hopefully he doesn't throw the ball to the other team. So if he just plays regular football against this team that is absolutely lost, they're no longer playing Jimmy G. They have so many issues going on. Devontae Adams is not happening. They're all anemic. They just fired their coach. They have a new coach in there now, new direction. They're starting the second or third string, whatever, the young quarterback. So they got a lot of things going on. Hopefully the young quarterback doesn't get hot on us. He might mess around and have the best game of his life because he's playing against the New York Giants. But the Giants actually have the opportunity to win this game. But if they lose this game, which they really should just lose the rest of all the games, that tells you how low they are.
Yeah, you know what? Knox did say that the Giants should just tank the season to try to get this kid to USC. This quarterback,
Caleb or Caleb Williams or another top kid in general, because I mean, it's the battle for the worst right now, and they're just absolutely scurrilously egregious. It's nothing. I'm still gonna watch every game, and I'm gonna sit home and laugh. Nothing is gonna bother me for the rest of the Giants season. I'm gonna drink a cocktail, and just laugh because I have nothing else to say. They must get better on the offensive line next year. It is absolutely a must. It's not a question no more. They need to stop doing this. They have to get the offensive line better. Now they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do economically with Saquon Barkley. They're probably going to have issues with that. They're going to have to franchise tag with him. So it's going to be another issue there. You just gave $80 million to this guy. I'm pretty sure whatever their status is, they're drafting a quarterback. So on top of that, you got the skill positions. The defense is fine. Just keep adding pieces to it. They got a young quarterback, but offensive line must be addressed with this football team. It is absolutely, exponentially the must and need. They are egregious on the offensive line. The Jets have a pulse. They have a really good defense. They play together. They play hard. Let me tell you something too. I don't want to sound like a hater. They've actually been very fortunate in a lot of football games as well too. They were fortunate with us. They were fortunate with the Denver Broncos. They had another one of games that were fortunate as well too. But that's not neither here nor there.
And they almost defeated the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, they almost did. And serendipity is a part of sports. This is also the team that almost beat the Kansas City Chiefs but lost to the New England Patriots. Go figure. But so the
That's always losing the Patriots.
That's sad. The Patriots are bad. Get a victory against the Eagles, so we know how that goes. But they have a good football team. You know what? If Rodgers was there, I know for sure they'd be better than this. So sky's the limit. I don't think he's coming back at all.
To get back to the Eagles, the Jets finally managed to score a win against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah,
if it had not been for that interception on the defensive end, they probably would have lost that one.
Correct.
The Jets historically don't do well against the Eagles.
Nope, they've lost the first 12 contests. So the Jets have a good chance. They'll get into the postseason most likely. They have a very anemic schedule where they have a lot of games where they should win. This one was key for them. They shout out to them. Not a hater. They did well. They got the victory. But when you play like that, this is why Jets fans will be modest in their talk. They didn't beat the New York Giants. The New York Giants beat themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So
at 4th and 1. I was listening to a podcast by Adrienne, who started the New York Giants fan podcast. She's been on my show a couple weeks ago. She was
the Jets fans were leaving. They were leaving with 20-something seconds. They were like, "It's over." When the Giants got the ball back the last two, they were some of them left. But that just shows you how bad. And go ahead with the podcast. I'm so sorry I cut you off. You were saying they said on it.
Yeah, I was listening to that podcast. She was making the same rant you're making right now. Oh my gosh! Just the rants from her and this guy named Overtime Day. They were making a lot of rants and complaints, talking about the Giant, talking about how you go for it on 4th and 1 and you missed the field goal, and then and then your defense end up playing sloppy at the end. You didn't do nothing in overtime. You let this dude named Greg hit 2 field goals off you within the span of 2 minutes. You might as well let that game end in a tie. But no, you just had to lose the game because we all do not like ties in the NFL. At least it was, but you think that after interview, you coming on the show, you're at least glad that it's a New York team defeating us and not any other team.
Shut up. Don Wink, the last defensive drive, and the defense played well.
I mean, the Jets.
You heard what I just said?
It's the New York Jets, a New York team that defeated the New York Giants, not any other team. I mean, the
last defensive drive, every other drive, and every other ballsy time, Don Wink Martindale blitzes. The first possession, he should have had 6 guys coming at Zach Wilson, maybe 7. Drop back 4 guys, drop back 30, 40 yards. Make sure the football don't go over your head for a touchdown. Anything in front, tackle up. You send 6, 7 at him, and you give him pressure the first time to try to sack him. To get on because they didn't have that much timeout. They had to burn their last timeout. You make it more difficult. Now, if it's 2nd and yesterday, now I feel comfortable. Hey, guys, play man schemes. Keep guys in front of you. We're going to rush 4, send the extra guy at him. The guy the ball gets picked up, get a turnover. No. Zach Wilson runs like Donovan McNabb and Randall Cunningham. Zach Wilson. Did you hear what I just said?
You said that.
Zach Wilson.
The same Zach Wilson you said on Real Show that Zach Wilson.
He's trash.
That Zach Wilson, he's not. You said something about how he's not over here. He's not over here. He is done. That's the same Zach Wilson you said.
Yeah.
Look at what he did to the New York Giants.
He's bad. He didn't do nothing to the New York Giants. He didn't do nothing.
Look at what he did
Stop
to the
that.
Broncos.
He didn't do nothing to the Denver Broncos. Pull up his stats. Pull up the stats. Go ahead. Tell me the numbers. What he do? He stinks, and you know that. Don't tell me none of that crap. The
I'm not
defense.
with you. I'm just letting you know.
There's nothing to know. I don't give a damn what those numbers tell you with that. He has no part to helping the New York Giants win the football game this year.
Zach
The Jets,
Wilson
excuse
threw
me.
for
We know that.
240 yards against the Giants, 245 yards in the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. Every other game, he's only thrown like 100.
Are you kidding? As he said, what is wrong with Rafique?
What is wrong with me? I'm just reading the stats.
200. You can't even say it. You can't even say it without laughing. And the numbers. You can't even say the numbers. It hurts.
But
it hurts for you to say 100 yards.
What I'm saying is really it's hilarious. That's the only reason why I'm laughing. I mean,
200. The guy threw for 205 yards against the Giants.
He only had about like five. He only had like five passing touchdowns this season coming up, on top of 1,337 yards.
Oh my goodness!
Completed.
Stop the press.
23% of his passes in the season coming up, going to the game against the Los Angeles Chargers, which they should win. The Chargers are about 3-4. They should win that game.
Yeah, no, they're going to beat the Chargers. Well, they should. As long the Chargers have no defense. Well, I don't say no defense. The Chargers secondary is bad, really bad. Their front seven is actually pretty decent. Their secondary is bad, but they give a lot of points up. So, but the problem is though, but the Jets defense is good, so they should be able to stop the Chargers. They're very good at that. But if they let the Chargers score a lot of points, the Jets is in trouble, because the Jets can't score points. They can defend. They defend the crap out of you. They defend. You hear me tell you straight up. The Jets defense, they're dogs. They can defend. That Zach. Ugh. Now, you have the computer in front of you, right?
Yes, I have the computer in front of me. The Jets have the Jets 3-game winning streak right in front of me. And yeah, look at the remaining schedule for the New York Jets. After this, they got to face Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are facing both football teams in back-to-back weeks. We understand that.
The Raiders stink.
After that, they head to Buffalo, and then they have a 3-game homestand against Miami, Atlanta, and Houston. I mean, well, I at least have a win against Atlanta and Houston after the way they started off. So it should be far-fetched. On the road, they got the Miami Dolphins. They're losing at least one of the two games against the Miami Dolphins. And then they got the Washington Commanders. The Giants held the Commanders to 7 points.
Whoopee.
After that, they on the road against the Cleveland Browns. We remember what happened last year when they had that crazy come from behind win against the Browns. So then they end the season against the New England Patriots. The Patriots suck, but they own the New York Jets somehow.
Let me ask you a question. All right, Jets win the first game of the season, right? They played the Buffalo Bills, right?
They played the Buffalo Bills.
Aaron Rodgers
gets hurt after 4 carries. The defense was
Zach Wilson was absolutely terrible. Dariq Whitehead gets 3 interceptions. Right? Defense wins the first game. Who did the Jets beat?
2 touchdowns down to that game. That game he was all right.
He stunk.
That was a loss to the Cowboys. I'll give it to you. The Jets stunk that time. Once the Cowboys figure out the Jets defense, they just blitzed them out of the water.
And Zach Wilson was terrible. Next.
Then they lose to the Patriots. They had a chance to win that game, but Zach Wilson threw a terrible pass at the end. We understand that.
Mind you, the score was 13-3. The offense scored no points.
Then they faced the Chiefs. Zach Wilson had a chance to win it when he fumbles the ball before he even managed to get a throw off.
Who was that against?
The Kansas City Chiefs. But the last
I remember that
for the game,
he wasn't that good. He wasn't that good.
The center gives Zach Wilson the ball. He fumbles it. Kansas City picks it up. They run out the rest of the clock.
Yeah, because he wasn't good. Next.
The Philadelphia Eagles, they would have lost that game if it not been for the interception. We understand that.
Correct.
Before
defense wins again, intercepting. He was not good.
The Denver Broncos.
Next.
The Denver Broncos. He was obviously
he was bad. The special team scored a touchdown. Special team scored a touchdown. Defense had a touchdown.
It was 31. Yeah, it was 31 against the Denver Broncos. It was 31 against the Denver Broncos. We understand that's some dude that Greg and Will managed to score field goals for them. They were down like 18-3. Brees Hall scored a 72-yard touchdown, and Brees Hall pretty much carried the offense that time and had a fumble recovery and return for a touchdown. So yeah, and you know what? You know what? You got that one. One time when the Jets had 31 points, it was because Brees Hall was carrying the team. And you said a year ago that Brees Hall brought a different dynamic. He was a breath of fresh air for the New York Jets. He did a breath of fresh air for the Jets 4-3 start.
Well, I'm the hater, guys. I'm the hater. So the running back won the game because clearly it wasn't Zach Saved by the Bell. And they had a fumble return for the defense for a touchdown. And they made a special teams play that game too. I don't remember what exactly it was, but they made a special teams play. So, and then after that, they do all that and they play the anemic New York Giants, who, of course, the second string quarterback gets hurt. And the third string quarterback comes in.
Tommy DeVito. And they only had one good play, but it was on shotgun. Obviously, that possession with the New York Giants would have happened if it wasn't for a turnover, I believe.
You can't outscore DeVito. All we did was run the whole second half.
Run on a shotgun play.
And you couldn't take your offense to score one touchdown. Brees Hall scored the touchdown for the Jets, guys, on a breakaway play. Mm-hmm. If Brees Hall don't do that, the Jets don't score no points. The Giants would have won 10-0 by accident. We stink. So, listen, it is what it is. And if the Giants can't beat the Raiders.
Yeah, now that we're halfway through the season, let's just make our second half predictions for the New York Giants. Now, Giants second half schedule. Yeah, let's just make our second half prediction for the New York Giants now that we're halfway through the season. We know how egregious both teams are, and they only won by strides, not by explosive power. We know that both New York teams suck. I'm so glad the basketball in New York City arose the way it did in 2023 because football and baseball in New York stunk.
Yeah, I see you wearing that op stuff over there, that Brooklyn stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to some NBA talk in a minute, as I promised you. Well, because the Brooklyn Nets are decent to start the day off.
Yeah, they're good. They I like the kids. But, I always got to break your chops, you're on that Brooklyn stuff off top. But go ahead, we'll finish the football.
But on a serious note, though, let's see. Week 9 against the Las Vegas Raiders. I remember you picked them to win that one. Do you still believe they can win that game against the Vegas Raiders?
Daniel Jones is going to play this week, so the offense will move a little better. The Raiders are not world beaters. But I'm not saying this with the biggest pride in the world. I don't have that much confidence in them per se either. The Giants will win this one this week. I don't see too much anything else after that. But after this one.
After this, John the road against the Dallas Cowboys, that's a loss. We're not even going to
debate. Loss.
As much as we poo on Cowboy fans, we know they're a real team. So
the next 3 games on the road after that are losses.
Yeah, after that, the Washington Commanders. If the Commanders they couldn't hold off the Philadelphia Eagles, yeah, I'm not even going to say. But I'm going to play it safe and pick them to lose that one. You pick them to lose, right? Against the Commanders on the road.
I'm only picking that as a win, only because I know the rest of their schedule after that Like I got the Eagles are 2 losses for them. I got the Cowboys for, so I'm gonna put that as their win in. They got the Raiders and the Commanders. That's the only wins that I really can see. After that, all right. So after the Commanders, what do you got?
The New England Patriots at home.
The Giants win.
Yeah. Week 13, they're on bye. Week 14, they have a Monday Night Football game against the Green Bay Packers. Jordan loves Green Bay Packers. They're so. But do you have a win in that game? Let's.
All right. So take the Washington one and put a loss there. And they beat Green, but they play like crap on national TV. They gonna lose to Green Bay, you know. They'll mess around and lose to Jordan Love, who's trying to find himself as a good young kid, and Packers on national TV. They'll mess around and lose.
Yeah, that's fine. On the road against the New Orleans Saints, they're not that. On the road against the New Orleans Saints, Week 14.
All right, so I'll change it again. All right, so give me Green Bay as a win, and give me the Saints on the road as a loss.
That's fair. And Week 16 on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles on Christmas Day. That's definitely a loss. We not even
Loss.
Yeah, not a good Christmas Day for New York Giants fans, especially by that at that point. We're probably not going to be in contention. And at home against the Los Angeles Rams, who have been so. Do you give them that win?
Yeah, they'll beat the Rams. Then they'll lose the last game to the Eagles. Even if the Eagles don't need the game, the Giants can't beat them with their backups. So the Eagles will win. And and I told you to give me Washington as a loss, even though I picked a win at first. Take off both of those. Ask me that in a week. I'm still undecided. The week before, I'm gonna let you know how I feel about that one for the end of the results. Because I'm telling you, this is an anemic team. If it was really up to them, they should lose every single game left. And watch those idiots get to 5 or 6 wins and be in the middle of the pack to get a damn quarterback. Stupid. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, they make me so sick sometimes. Absolutely sick.
So yeah, that would put them in about. Ooh, you might get that elusive. Oh, your prediction 7-10 might come true, Abdul.
Mm-hmm. I'll let you know about how I feel about the Washington game. They make me sick.
Yeah, I get that a lot. That like seriously, I'm sorry. This conversation is just too funny. I ain't even gonna laugh, but
the Giants are about to stink. When they stink, you stink. When you got your own team, you know what they stink. They stink. They're terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hold no punches. They're bad. I'm gonna watch anyway. I love them, but they stink. Okay. And then, I'm like 5 for 5 this year. Every time I watch the game with somebody and I say, Gano's going to miss the kick. They say, what are you talking about? I say, Gano's going to miss the kick. And boom, wide left. I said, I told you.
Yeah. Now on to the New York Jets. They at home against the Los Angeles Chargers.
They beat
Monday Night Football.
Yeah, they always beat the Chargers. They beat the Chargers this week. Even though I do not like that quarterback. But I think Justin Herbert's a stud. But his defense is bad. And the Jets always find a way to make the Chargers work defensively to score. They should do enough things to win. But this one is tough, because honestly, the Chargers should beat the Jets, man. Listen, the Jets they beat the Giants last week. No poodles on them. but they should have a lot of concerns. They didn't score a lot of points. They scored a first quarter touchdown with Brees Hall. They didn't score a touchdown after that. The rest of their points is with 3 points, 2 field goals to win the game. They should be very concerned. As much of the Chargers defense is bad, one thing that I do know, the Chargers offense is really damn good. They can score 30 points, that offense. And I know the Jets can't. So Zach Wilson has to play big. He has to play He has to play very well this week in order for them to win, because the Jets can put up enough possessions to stop the Chargers. They have a really good defense, but the Chargers will score eventually. You know what I'm saying? And now it's about the Jets. You know what? I shouldn't, and I'm probably going to be wrong and have my foot in my mouth, but I'm going to pick the Chargers. The Giants. The Giants did everything to lose the game last week. The Giants are 28 seconds away from a victory against a team that they shouldn't beat, because the Jets are better than us on paper. Clearly, they won, but the Giants had that game, and the Giants are a bad team and almost beat the Jets. The Chargers are a little bit better than us. Not even a little. The Chargers are better than us. Their offense is really good. It's just their secondary that's bad. I'm going to go on a limb. I shouldn't do it. The Jets are on a good high right now, 3-game winning streak. But maybe this is when it might come to an end, especially them coming off the bye and beating us. They might think they're world beaters. I'm going to go on a limb. I'll pick the Chargers.
Okay, that's fair.
They come in on the East Coast, too. It's hard. It's usually hard for a West Coast team to win on the East with the time change. But I'll go with Chargers. I'll go with my
It's going to be on national television. It's going to be on Monday Night Football. So, yeah. On the road against Las Vegas Raiders.
They'll beat the Raiders.
Yeah. That means the 13-7 talk has already come to an end, or at least it may come to an end after a loss to the Detroit Lions last week. Sorry, Trini and Barbie, if you're watching this.
The Giants might do it this week. That'll make my season. That'll be my Super Bowl.
On the road against the Buffalo Bills, the Jets. Well, obviously, you think the Jets win that one, week 11.
This might sound crazy. The Jets play Buffalo pretty well, and the Buffalo Bills, man, they're always Jekyll and Hyde. Come back to me with that one.
Okay. On to week 12 at home against the Miami Dolphins. Win or loss?
They're at home? Jets beat, Bills lose to Dolphins. For some reason, the Jets played the Bills pretty damn good.
Week 13 against the Atlanta. Well, excuse me. Week 13 against the Atlanta Falcons.
They beat Falcons.
Week 14 against the Houston Texans, even though the Texans have been slightly improved this year, even with the loss of the Carolina Panthers on a field goal.
They beat the Texans.
Okay. Week 15 on the road against the Miami Dolphins.
They lose.
Week 16 at home against the Washington Commanders.
Who do they have week 17?
On the road against the Cleveland Browns.
They beat the Commanders. They lose the last game of the season.
No, actually, the Cleveland Browns on the road was the second to last game of the season.
All right, 17 games. All right, so they lose to Cleveland regardless, though. Cleveland gets the redemption from last year. Plus, Cleveland's a better team. That's not that team they played last year.
Yeah, you got a very interesting point. And then 18, well, we don't know what type of Patriots team we're gonna get by that time. The Patriots are bad, but they miraculously they find a way to beat the Jets. So I'm just gonna pick the Jets just to lose that one to play it safe.
You know what's so crazy? The Jets should win that game, but I'm going with you. The Jets will, and it's in New England too. I think the Jets are going to lose that game.
Look at how they're
losing.
Look at how they ended a low-scoring affair. They gave up a punt return for a touchdown. It was after a 3-2 tie.
You know what? It'll be the Jets' fate by that last game that they'll probably need that game to go to the playoffs, and they'll probably lose to the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how things play out. But the Jets have a better chance. Their fan base will be more happy that at least their defense is giving them opportunities to win football games.
Yeah. Yeah, that finishes up at 9-8. Not bad.
Not bad. That's good. That's pretty good
for a team that hasn't been to the playoffs in a while. But assuming Aaron Rodgers pulls a Willis Reed moment, that could be the case.
I do not realistically see him. I know God bless him. He's trying. I don't know. I severely doubt that he'll get on the football field this year. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. All right. That's pretty much the rest of the week for the week. We're probably not going to debate on this week's game. We're going to pick for this week's games because there's no guarantee you're probably going to come back next week. I mean, we'll probably work on you coming back to the show next week, but nothing's guaranteed.
I don't know if I'm busy like that next week. I don't have any events no, you know what? I should be locked in. Yeah, I'll be locked in next week because I'm doing a lot of work at the job, like putting in some overtime and stuff, especially since me now having 3 days off from with the bonding time with the baby. So, the holidays is coming up. So all this extra money. So Fridays I'll be doing double shifts. So I'll be here at the desk. We should be able to converse. And I don't have events going on. I did a lot of the stuff over the weekend. Like this weekend I'm good and free. And we got crunch time, but we'll talk about that later. Everything that's coming up with like the things I gotta do is like in December. So I have a good 4 weeks to just work, focus on the kids, and stay home and try to get some rest with what's going on before it starts again.
Yeah, while it's not a guarantee. Let's just say I might have some. Let's just say I might have stuff coming up if I'm not. If I'm not doing it, but that's neither here nor there. So I'll probably just scrape the week 9 predictions for this week since we probably know since we're gonna be too locked into other stuff. But yeah. Now we get to the first week of the NBA season, and the NBA season is pretty decent so far. We just saw Victor Wembanyama beat Kevin Durant twice already, and his career just started.
That kid's gonna be special. I'm glad. A lot of people. There were some people that didn't, and he's still earning his career, but a lot of people were having so much doubt. Oh, he's too tall. I was like, listen to me. This kid is different. He's gonna be different, and I'm telling you, the best thing in the world was when the lottery ball pulled up or whatever the pick the choice, and it was the San Antonio Spurs. That was the best thing that can happen for a big fella. And the Spurs have had generation time of doing well with big fellas. Granted, this prototype of how the game is played, especially as a big fella, is different toward the Tim Duncan, David Robinson type of days, back to basket guys. But he still can shot block and rebound. And we know he's a unicorn. He can do everything else: shoot the three, dribble, drive, handle it, penetrate, mid range. I mean, the kid is special, and it's scary if I'm a big Scoot fan. I know Scoot's going to be special too. But if he stays like this guy's going to be the best player in the NBA in about 1 or 2 years. He's 7'4".
That's only after LeBron James retired.
Listen to me. I'm a LeBron fan. If the kid keeps playing like this and progress, he's 7'4". If he keeps playing like this and doesn't get hurt, bro, in a year or two, I ain't trying to guard him. Jokic coming out there to guard that? That's 7'4" with a jumper. Go by you dunk. Can do any. I don't know. He out there looking crazy, bro. He out there. Suns twice, dunking it all over them. Listen. He looked he looks scary, and he only about 10 years old. So when he completely get, they tough. And the Spurs have actually, believe it or not, the Spurs have a really good team. They have a lot of good players on that team.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of good young kids, and sky's the limit. God bless them.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's been about like what 4 seasons since the Spurs have been in the playoffs. I mean, they missed it the bubble year 2020. They missed it 21, 22. They would have had the worst record in 2023. All for the sake of getting this kid.
God bless, and they'll have a chance this year. I see them as a mid-30s to like 40-win team. Yeah, I know Victor makes that team 8 to 10 wins better than what they were last year. And
yeah, that I know for sure. And you know what? It ain't gonna be that long before San Antonio's back to being the San Antonio Spurs that we're used to during the Tim Duncan days, where they were in the playoffs almost a quarter of a century.
Yep.
It ain't gonna
Good
be
start
that
to the
long.
season.
It's not gonna be that long before Victor Wembanyama becomes the face of the NBA, the way he's playing to start off. You just got 2 wins against a Kevin Durant-led Phoenix Suns.
Big time.
And some highlights to notice. I already mentioned LeBron. The Lakers finally managed to get a win against the Clippers. Granted, the Lakers have been healthy in recent seasons, which that's the only reason the Clippers have managed to own LeBron's Lakers in recent years. They want the Clippers being like 11 in a row before LeBron finally got them. The oldest player to score 35 points in his 21st season. And Patrick will have the nerve to call him a spineless coward for leaving the Cowboys for the Miami Heat back in 2010. He's gonna have the nerve to say that LeBron is not in the same tier as Michael Jordan. He scored 35 points his 21st season in the NBA.
Patrick, you know, I mean, I just can't with him sometimes. But and just another way of showing some of the things that he says is absolutely scurrilous. But the Clippers have beat the Lakers 11 straight times. You sure?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Word?
I would not lie to you. They said it on the broadcast when I watched the game yesterday. I'm not lying to you.
That's 2.5 years.
I'm not lying to you, my guy. I'm not lying to you.
Hey, listen.
But at the end of the day, the Lakers are the one with the historic championship success, not the Clippers.
Right. Okay, well, listen.
And the Clippers picked up James Harden finally. Although they had to give Nicholas Batum, Robert Cunningham, and a couple draft picks to get him, the Clippers did manage to get James Harden. Although that starting 5 with Tim, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard is going to be, it looks insane on paper. It's just a matter of when they actually get on the court. I hope it doesn't become a bust, because this is the one season you're going to have this roster together. They're all under contract. On paper, an all-star team looks good, but you're not the freaking New York Liberty that was in the finals a few weeks ago. Stop it right there. I know we're talking about the NBA, but I'm bringing this up because I see better super teams in the WNBA. This Clippers, I'm going to have to watch it play. I'm not going to say they're going to be a juggernaut. I'm going to have to watch it come in fruition.
Yeah, if they stay healthy, they'll be scary. But and they all got to gel and just get the right way. But I tell you something that I just noticed. Whether trade or not, the New York Knicks have a chance to be the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference to me. And I had them at 4-5, but now things have changed. The Boston Celtics are going to be the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Let's get that out right now. Okay, the Bucks will probably be the 2 seed, most likely. Those are the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference. We all agree.
We all agree that, Tom. We
all agree. We all agree that that's going to be the Eastern Conference Finals, right? We barring no injury. That's it right there. The 1 and 2 seed. The Knicks have a chance to be the 3 seed to me because, one, I think the Knicks have clearly said that and shown that we're better than the Cleveland Cavaliers. Are we all on record with that? The Knicks are better than the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Even though the Cavaliers did beat them at the Garden the other day. But the Knicks both up in Cleveland the night before. So
correct. Yeah. So, but I think eye test wise, with that point, the Knicks are better than the Cavs. So I think they'll get into that 3 seed. I think the Cavs could be the 4 seed, Miami the 5th seed. But that's up. But I'm sorry, the Sixers. But I don't know how much Embiid. I mean, they just have regular guys now. And that might be good. Nick Nurse is a good coach, so he might just play these guys up. But if the Sixers situation ain't looking right, who knows how long Embiid will be there? East is going to be very interesting. I like what Brooklyn's going to do. I think Brooklyn's going to be very good. I expect them to be a postseason team.
To be the Ben Simmons we all knew and love. I mean, they managed to win. Well, obviously they beat the Charlotte the Hornet wins was a given, but they came back and beat the Miami Heat. They were in the final, and the Heat won the finals last year as an 8th seed. Let's be fair. So if they can get so Brooklyn's good enough to beat the Miami Heat, even though they struggled to begin the year. Then how do you think they're gonna? Brooklyn's kind of like 50-50 with me, because it all depends on the type of offensive production that Ben Simmons is gonna descend upon this unit, which is led by Markel Bridges, Smith Jr., Finney Smith, Dennis Smith Jr.,
Cam Johnson. You got the kid. All those kids.
Now, this team is not Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie.
Also, Cam Thomas. Thomas can score.
You can Kyrie Irving. If it wasn't for all the nonsense that happened during that super team era. But I see some growth within this Brooklyn Nets unit. Let's be honest.
100%.
Even in the losses to the Cavaliers and the Mavericks, they held their own. And with all that review being said after the first week, we got the NBA in-season tournament coming up. Now, I don't know if we had conversations about this throughout the calendar year, but what can you expect from the NBA in-season tournaments?
I think it's the greatest thing they did. And I think it's going to be good. Guys are going to get used to it. Everybody's beefing. But it's going to be good. It adds different spice to the season. A lot of times people say the season gets a little drug out. Guys are not playing. Guys are resting. This gives another consolation prize, something to look forward to the season. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you might not win the finals, but you might have been able to win these postseason tournaments there, kind of like a college style. So I think it's great. It brings a different competitive spirit. Guys will get used to it. At first, remember, we were always used to 8 teams being in the playoffs. They added that extra element a couple of years ago at the playoffs, and everybody's like, oh my God, we're not going to like it. It gives everybody a chance to go in. It's not going to matter. Hasn't the playing tournaments been great?
Mm-hmm.
It's been good. It makes the bottom core of teams play because nobody's just bellying out, especially when mathematically you see you have a chance, and it's given a lot of people a chance. The Miami Heat is happy about the play-in tournament. You understand? They did it gives opportunities. We see all the sports doing it. The NFL added more teams to it now that there's a 1-team bye. Baseball did it, so there are things after a while that don't look so good with the basketball, with the change. And then if you notice over time, it has grown on people. I mean, they didn't want to do the bubble, but eventually guys figured it out and it grown. I think this will grow as well too. They'll be perfectly fine. And I see all the rules for it. And I did it. I'm like, listen, this tournament is going to be fresh. So I'm with it. I can't wait for it to start.
Yeah, this tournament is going to be a breath of fresh air. And especially, it also gives the Knicks and Nets a chance to actually win something coming out when they're not.
This is what I'm saying.
Even in seasons where they're not really expected to go nowhere, you at least have a chance to win an in-season tournament title.
Yeah. Which is important. It's key, man. Hell yeah.
And you know what? Yeah, it's going to be difficult because both the Nets and Knicks have at least one title contender within the group. The Knicks, they have the Miami Heat, the Charlotte Hornets, and the Milwaukee Bucks in the same group.
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah, so if you can't beat the Milwaukee Bucks, you're gonna have a tough time getting to that in-season tournament because remember, you have to play these teams 3 times. You have to play 3 teams. And yes, the games do count towards the stand. And yes, the games count towards the standards. Actually, I'll make a mistake. The Knicks, they have the Bucks, the Heat, Wizards, and Hornets in the same group, East Group B.
They'll be fine. Only thing they got, well, they'll be fine. I'm good against those teams. The Bucks is who they'd have to really worry about, but they'll be fine. They'll be all right.
While Brooklyn, on the other hand, they have to deal with the Chicago Bulls, the Magic, the Raptors, and the Celtics. Remember what I said, at least one title contender in the same group. The Nets and
God bless.
had to put up with the teams I just mentioned. They should beat the Magic, the Bulls, and the Raptors as constructed. But Paul said that's a whole other animal.
Facts. And I like what the Toronto team has. They better be careful. I like what Toronto got.
Although they still got Pascal Siakam carrying the team, Pascal can only do so much for the Raptors. So let's be honest.
But they got the kid Anudi.
Mm-hmm.
I like Scotty Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
They got Potet at the center. I like them. I like them. They play tough.
Yeah, no issue. I mean, I know we just went over the Group B section, but the Knicks, well, the Wizards and Hornets, fine, they should be able to get a win. But they have to get, but you have to win at least 1 or 2 games out of the Milwaukee Bucks and the Heat. The Bucks are title contenders. The Heat beat you in the playoffs last year. They made it to the finals. You have to win one of those games, so the Knicks are going to survive and make it to the knockout rounds.
God bless.
Now you get to Group C, where it's pretty much the Warriors. They're in the same group with the Timberwolves, Thunder, Kings, and Spurs. The Warriors can beat any one of those teams. Let's be honest. They're gonna go through it on a landslide.
Most likely. I've heard the games. I'm gonna see.
Nuggets, defending champions in Group B, they had to deal with the Pelicans, Mavericks, Clippers, and Rockets. They only get one easy team in the Houston Rockets. So I'm not sleeping on the Rockets. They added Fred VanVleet during the offseason, which means they're going to slightly improve. And then the Pelicans with Zion Williamson, as I already said in earlier podcast episodes, Zion Williamson's going to make the Pelicans relevant. The Dallas Mavericks, even though they did miss the playoffs last year, despite having Kyrie Irving on the roster, they're going to be better. We already talked about the Clippers situation after getting James Harden trade. So it's going to be kind of mixed with the Denver Nuggets having to play those teams in the same group.
100%.
Let's see. Now we get to Group A. The Lakers, they got the Grizzlies, Suns, Blazers, and Jazz. Okay. The Grizzlies have been bad, but they don't have John Morant carrying the load because that suspension we're not even going to say because it's a family-friendly show. We're not even going to say what John Morant did. Let's just say he was a damn idiot for what he did. Let's just say that. The Grizzlies are bad to start the year, but once John Morant comes back, they're gonna evolve. They're gonna get back to the top contender team we expected to be. The Phoenix Suns, even though they did lose back-to-back games to San Antonio Spurs, they're gonna get the Lakers to run for them. They're gonna get the Lakers to run for their money. I mean, the Blazers, they're not that good. Jazz, they're so. So I probably see the Lakers coming out of this one.
Yeah, they got a good bracket. They should be fine, but tournaments got to play these games, man.
So yeah, this is pretty much it. Now we get to Eastern Conference Group A. Sixers, they're in the same group with the Cavaliers, Hawks, Pacers, and Pistons. Yeah, Sixers should come out of this one, or at least be in the top 2.
Might be a lot of upsets in these tournaments. That's why when you say I don't know, the tournament action is different. When as you may.
Yeah, with this in-season tournament, they pretty much was taking a page off the Olympics basketball book.
Yeah,
because only in the Olympics and the FIBA Americans tournament that you're going to be seeing this style of basketball playoffs being played to fruition.
100%. It's gonna be the NBA Olympics. I think it's nice. I'm telling you, I think it's gonna bring so much. It's gonna be give it 2-3 years. The teams and players are gonna be looking forward towards the in-season tournament.
Yeah, the Knicks and Nets in the next few years they have to win something.
Yeah, we'll see.
And now up in this episode, nothing but that sports talk. One last thing, the knockout rounds will be in Vegas.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's gonna be huge. That's gonna be big time exposure and money and TV time. So that's big time. We never. I'm gonna keep you posted that we might have a Thanksgiving event that we're doing at Crunch Time. I don't know if I'll make it to the guys to announce, but I know in December, Bowling for Peace is doing their big high school top 60 thing out there. So I'm gonna pop out with the guys and just go watching games. I know Slim and Voice Box will be down there, H2O and the guys. But Crunch Time is we're looking forward to starting our winter league in December. I was just talking with the commissioner last week as we did a lovely Halloween tournament. We had a lot of really good programs in school in the building. It was a hit and a success. The players were very happy about it. There was a lot of different events going on in Long Island as well. So, and I also announced for the New York Court Kings. Shout out to Nicole and Jerukbo, the captain down there. They always had me come out and announce their home games. Family always treat me well. Seen some good players down there. Lunchbox was there, Day Day was there, and plus the Court Kings team was a good game. So I got another game. I got 5 more games I'm doing with them, but the next one approaching is December 2nd. On a Saturday, we got a home game we're going to be doing for them. And but Crunch Time is projected to start back in December. I don't know if we're going to meet that date. I always think the January, but December is what he told me. We're doing a cash prize this year. We're calling the winter the hunger season. It's 5,000. That's going to be the minimum prize. Is 12,500. That's supposed to be the max. So all the college players, all the hoopers that think they can hoop, that's not on a Division 1, 2, 3, JUCO or NAA any squad right now for the wintertime, and you in the metropolitan area and you want to hoop, get your guys together. The money is there. You go online, follow us, you figure out the logistics. But we're gonna have a dope winter league. Slim's gonna come out. We're gonna have our DJ core. We're gonna, put on and do a big numbers for the wintertime. Give everybody a good start before the summertime comes. So that's the biggest thing we got looking forward. And the Thanksgiving event, I think I told you we're supposed to do. I got some other things that's supposed to come up eventually, but I'm glad I got a couple weeks in November to kind of just work and just chill and stay home with the kids until I get the calls from Bruce. I've got my guy that's going to be giving us Knicks tickets. So, and hopefully on December 23rd, I know the good connections I got with Lindell Wigington. He'll be he told me to just shout him out the first week of December so I can get some seats for the December 23rd Knicks Bucks game. And like I said, I got so many lanes that I'm gonna be going to different college games, Hofstra, Stony Brook, St. John's, high school with Zadi's kids making the rounds. Maybe I'll be doing stuff with Shots for the Patients. So I'll be all around for the wintertime. That'll definitely be the vibe. And next year already, we're already planning for August 22nd and 27th. We'll be back at the Peace Tournament. We're going to do an outside game for them once as well, too. So that's going to be great in a year's time. And I got a wedding. It's crazy. My daughter's birthday is June 28th. So I'm going to have to do a big birthday celebration for her the weekend before and literally book a flight in the middle of the day to get up to do something with her in the daytime because I got a wedding I got to do in Canada back with Halifax with this group out there on the 29th, but I got to take the flight the 28th to get out there to order to do what I do. So I got a lot of things brewing, man. I'm just gonna keep working. The thing with the mayor a couple weeks back was a very good success with Pearl Washington, Janie Washington's Pearl Washington's sister Janie, and just continue to work and write. And when Crunch Time starts in the wintertime, not only will I be announcing and doing the interviews, but I'll be doing weekly reports with them based off what we see. So I got a lot of work to put into it with what's going on. And those are the future stuff coming on. So Crunch Time wintertime is definitely coming in. Appreciate the time. And the NBA season, like you said, is here. It's time to enjoy good basketball. And college is here and high school is here as well.
Yep. And another note, we already talked about. And another note, don't forget, Cooper Flag announced he's going to be going to Duke. Ariel Little announced that. Okay, don't get too close to the screen now. And Ariel Little announced that he's going to St. John's. This just to give a little bit of nothing but that sports talk, quick talk.
One more note, and I want you to end it. My guy DJ, I have him on Instagram. He plays hoop. He's one of Mo Dingle's family members. He's seen me Sunday when I was at the Halloween event after it was over for the kids. I stayed for like an extra hour after, excuse me. Rev had got some food, so I sat at 8. I watched the guys stay for a little just hoop. Then I was tired. I was like, yo, I'm about to jump on the bus, get back home. Revs gives me another. God bless him. He paid me well for the tournament. We did so well. We did a great job. A lot of families came out. We did out well. So, we had a great weekend. He gives me another like $25, $30. He's like, right, don't get on the bus, jump in the Uber, go home, get some rest right away. I was like, you know what? Appreciate you. You're right. DJ sees me and he sees me sitting down and he comes to me and he's like breaking chops. He's like, I didn't remember what sport you're talking about. He's like, so how you guys going to do against us this year? So I'm thinking he's talking about maybe football or something. First, like, he ain't no Jets fan. So he's like, I said, oh yeah, Duke, North Carolina. So I said, we gonna be all right, man. I ain't worried about nothing. We recruited. We got guys. We might not have had all the big names that you guys.
Well, we didn't have big names and Cooper Flag coming to Duke, and then
hold on.
Jackson going to North Carolina. So in 2 years, if you thought that Tyler Hansbrough, if you thought that the Tyler Hansbrough days, and then on the Austin Rivers days was good, wait for Cooper Flag versus Ian Jackson. Oh wait, you already seen that in the streets. Never mind,
bro. Check this out.
Oh wait, you already seen that? Oh yeah, you've seen that before. It's street ball, New York versus New York. But you're gonna be seeing that in the college level too, and then later you're gonna be seeing that in the NBA level. So yeah, 2020s in basketball is gonna be insane, assuming there's no pandemic.
Peep this. He says this to me on Sunday. I already knew we had kids coming in. We didn't have no Elliot Cadeau like they have, and Elliot's impressive. God bless him, New York. Like you said, the next class next year, Ian Jackson. They have more coming in with that class as well too. Boogie Flan, no, he went to Kentucky, but they have some other kids coming in. They'll be fine. So I said, we had kids we recruited this year. Don't get it twisted. We got a good team. So I said, we'll be fine. We good. I said next year we got some recruits coming. I had heard a little word about it, but I didn't know it was official completely yet. And I know there's some other kids coming. I said, you watch and see. The next day happens, I see the boom, Slam Magazine, Cooper Flag going to Duke. I made sure I sent it right to him. I said, I told you. And let me tell you something. I like Ian Jackson. He's a New York kid, St. Raymond's OSL, overtime elite now, great kid. God bless him. He is an absolute stud under 18. But Cooper Flag.
Cooper Flag is just different.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And let me tell you something. When he hit campus, woo! It has changed, Lord. He's only going to be there for 6 months because he's going to the NBA. Trust me.
And you're going to give Duke an 8-year lease after Mike Krzyzewski retired. Now you might want to extend your Duke lease.
No, 10 years. I told you 10 years.
10-year lease. You might want to extend your lease after that, after they pull the rabbit out their hat.
Yeah. If they give me 10 years of competitive, I'm not going nowhere. I mean, if they give me 10 years of competitive, I'm all right with that. They were competitive last year. So they won 20-something games. Through all out the backlash and the foolishness about Duke, the Duke won 20-something games last year. You know what I'm saying? And that's things that many teams love to do in college basketball. They were eligible for the NCAA tournament. They win. Did they win a game?
Yeah, they won the first round, but they lost in the second round.
Right. They won a game, lost the second round. And now John Shire is starting to get more of the guys that he wants for the program. And once he implements his style, they'll be fine. Listen, St. John's, Hofstra, and all those teams will always be my team at heart. But unless Duke gives me Unless Duke gives me 6 to 7 bad seasons, which will take a lot, I can't. Like you said, after the 10-year lease, I'm pretty sure I'll opt in again. I'll probably go a 5-year plan. I'll just go 5 years. I'll give them a short-term contract to make sure they stay on the same pace. And after that 5 years, if if it looks good, then I'll just sign up for the lifetime contract. If not, then I'll give them another 3 years and think about it. So they on a 10-year, 5-year, 3-year, 18-year hiatus plan.
Yeah. And on that note, we'll wrap up this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. For Ryan Walker, Rafique Louison, get ready for college basketball. Get ready for the rest of the NBA. And yeah, enjoy football the way you intend to enjoy football. That's all I could say.
We gotta get you a Knicks shirt and a Rangers shirt too. You need some New York
No,
Rangers.
I have in my closet. Don't worry about that.
New York Rangers. And shout out to the Texas Rangers too.
I'm repping this shirt. Come on now.